of the features which are very liked by our employees is um, they have a fantastic simulation based learning, and I personally encourage my employees to do that. We try and plug that into all the learnings they do. So that's a fantastic feature which they have. Now, the way I want to position Skillsoft, and I've been positioning Skillsoft in my organization, is, see, there is no denying the fact that YouTube is the biggest content provider, right? There's no challenging that. So you do have every bit of information, every bit of knowledge, every bit of learning available on YouTube. So how do I, as an organization, ensure that my learners' experience is absolutely perfect and they come back to academy team saying, hey, I want to learn this, how can you help me? Right? Otherwise, if I'm not able to focus on that, if I'm not able to get that right, then all my employees would do all the learnings through YouTube, which is absolutely open source as well, right? So while we do have all these programs in place, while we do go back to the employee saying, you have to do this for your current role, you have to do this for your aspired role, I think the underlying focus, right, the element which ties all these pillars is, what experience are we giving for our learners, right? Are learners getting the right experience when they compare from Udemy to Skillsoft? I think that is the primary focus which we had when we onboarded Skillsoft as well. And we've been successful in last 2 years. We've been absolutely successful in doing what we wanted to achieve. So the quality of the content, the correctness of the content, the way the content is presented in Skillsoft is definitely provides, or it definitely provides a lot more, if I may call, learners experience, right? Because we all talk about customer experience. For me, learners experience is the key. And my collaboration with Skillsoft has definitely provided a lot more lever for the academy team to ensure that we have a strong learners experience. We, as any organization, right, as any learning and development organization, we do have our regular run-of-the-mill metrics in terms of completion, in terms of attendance, in terms of what is the coverage, what is assessment scores, how can we improve all these things. So those are normal metrics which we take into consideration. But what we have very specific, right, is the business metrics. And I'll probably give you an example. So with Skillsoft, we ran something called as engineering excellence, which was a branch out of my initial program, which I spoke about, Career Next and having career progression on those. So we ran a program called Engineering Excellence, and that was primarily focused on strengthening the core engineering capability in our organization. And when I say core engineering capability, between academy team and the organization, we were very, very clear that we're not talking about technology here. We're not talking about AI, we're not talking about ML, we're not talking about prompt engineering, we're not talking about Java, Python, and all of that. What we were focusing on here was the core engineering concepts, and that was as fundamental as, can you program well? Do you have the right set of reasoning and logical skill to program well, right? Can you secure code? Do you know what are the basics of testing, or what is unit testing? And another one like cloud computing. What do you mean by cloud computing? So that was the foundational thing. So while our organization is a very high-end technology-driven, our employees are trained on cutting-edge technologies and all of that, we, on a regular basis, we also focus to ensure that our foundation is very strong, right? People have the right set of engineering foundation or core engineering capability to ensure that tomorrow, if the technology changes, we're not running pillar to post to figure out what to do. So that was a program which we ran. It's been close to a year now when we initiated, and this was in close collaboration with Skillsoft, because they were the one who helped us identify the right set of courses, right set of courses basis the proficiency, basis the competency, and all of that. So we rolled out early this year is when we rolled out this program. And while I would still say that we are at the nascent stages, we are not seeing a very colorful metrics, business metrics, but we do see small shifts in two kind of metrics, if I may call. One is our delivery excellence metrics, and the other one is engineering excellence metrics. So we have, the business do have these two metrics in place, where there are a lot of parameters which gets built in. Now, if I may call some of the parameters where the learning definitely directly impacts is, let's say, number of risks identified, right? Number of stories which you write, number of stories per sprint, productivities by person, which is basically the velocity, right? Surprise escalations. So these are metrics which are directly proportional to what we learn, and how do we convert that learning into behavior in your respective projects, and what do you see as an outcome. So these are some of the metrics which are absolutely aligned to engineering excellence, and we've been tracking this, and there is definitely a progress, an improvement in those metrics. So what I wanted to say is, while we don't have standard metrics for all programs, but what we do is, every program which we roll out in the organization, we clearly call out the outcome and how do we measure the outcome. So for every program, we have these three elements in place, and then we continue to measure the outcome and the metric. People do acknowledge that this is a good thing, and that's something which is one of the biggest success for me, right? Employees do walk up to me and saying, thank you for doing something like this, because today I can see what I'm doing in my current role, and if I aspire to become, what should I do? So it's a very clear, transparent platform for them, and they don't have to there's no biases in that, right? They don't have to depend upon the manager, they don't have to depend upon a CTO or a CDO or an academy team or an HR team to figure out where they are, how they are doing, and things like that. So that's definitely a very, very successful endeavor for us in the organization which we rolled out.